What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Cincinnati Reds franchise. And today is the time for September call-ups. We're going to be calling up two individuals to make the big league roster. We're going to start off with Brandon Williamson. He will be making his MLB debut in this episode. And he's a guy that we acquired in a trade last season before I took over as the general manager. And he has pitched pretty decent at the AAA level this season, a 1.6 WAR. I think he's a guy that should be given an opportunity because we have a couple other guys at AAA who are probably a little bit above him. So I think it would be good to give him an opportunity. The second person is, you guessed it, Elly Cruz will be making his MLB debut today, as he is the A potential 21-year-old, 74 overall shortstop, batting .261 down at the AAA level, finally putting it all together, and he's seeing those ratings rise throughout the season as well. Nothing is going down. One thing that I do want to focus on with Elly Cruz is probably his vision. I think that his hitting attributes are good. The vision is probably the thing that needs the most work, but he was also called up today to make his MLB debut. Will Benson was also called up so that way we could get 28 men on the roster, but the two big ones are Brandon Williamson and Elly Cruz. And here we are playing against the Chicago Cubs as, like I said, Brandon Williamson, 6'6", 210-pound, 24-year-old lefty will be making his MLB debut today. He has pitched pretty well at AAA, like I said, so I had to rearrange the starting five because I wanted him to get his MLB debut the first game that I played. Here he is facing Ian Happ, and he's going to get Ian Happ swinging and missing for his first MLB strikeout of his career. He's a guy that's going to definitely compete for a starting position next season. If not a starting position, he will probably play in the bullpen, at least long relief, something of those sorts. Here he is facing Eric Hosmer, batting .318 on the season, and he gets Hosmer going down swinging. So 2 strikeouts to start the game here for Brandon Williamson. I was impressed with the way that he pitched in this game as well. Here's Nico Horner, the 3-hitter, and he's going to pop this one up into right field. And speaking of Will Benson, he's there to make the play. So a 1-2-3 inning for Brandon Williamson here in his MLB debut. And now we are going to get to see Kyle Hendricks on the mound. But more importantly, we are going to see our number 1 prospect, Elly Cruz. He's currently the number 3 prospect in all of baseball. And here he is with his first at-bat as a Cincinnati Red and as a big leaguer. Welcome to the show, Elly Cruz. 1-2 count, and he's going to ground this one to Dansby Swanson, on to Hosmer, and that will be out number 1. So Elly Cruz grounds in to a ground out in his first at-bat. Here's Jonathan India batting .248 on the season, and he goes down swinging the nice curveball by Kyle Hendricks, 71 miles per hour. Thing about Kyle Hendricks is he's going to throw that very slow curveball. Here's Tyler Stevenson to the plate, our best hitter this season. And he's going to ground this one over to Wisdom, and he's going to ground out. So 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Hendricks as well. Here's Williamson, top second, 3-2 count to Dansby Swanson. And he's going to get Swanson swinging on the circle change. What a pitch by Brandon Williamson, his third strikeout here on the game. Here's Patrick Wisdom to the plate now. A guy who is very dangerous against left-handed pitching, so not a bad, miss for Williamson there to walk him. Here's Trey Mancini batting .265 this season. He grounds this one on the De La Cruz to India. On to first for the double play. Joey Votto playing over there at first today. And you see a little bit of what Elly Cruz can do in the field, as that was a quick turn. Top 3 here, Williamson on the mound still, and it's getting a little bit more foggy in this game. Here's Yan Gomes, the catcher, to the plate, the 7-hitter. To this point, Williamson was pitching a no-hitter. Benson diving, and he can't get to it. This one is going to go all the way to the wall, and Yan Gomes, thankfully, does not have any speed. Nick Plummer will eventually get this one in as it holds Yan Gomes to just a double. It was ruled a hit because Will Benson gave it everything he had to try and make that play. It kind of felt like he went at a weird angle. Had he not went at the angle he went at, he probably could have made the play. Nonetheless, it's a double for Yan Gomes and the Chicago Cubs with a leadoff base runner. Here's Brennan Davis, hits this one into center field. Nick Plummer there to make the play for out number 1. So Brandon Williamson has pitched very well up to this point, other than that double. Here's Nelson Velasquez. He hits this one in the deep left field. This one's got a lot of carry. Back to the walls, Fraley. and he's there to make the play. Runner does not tag. 2 down. Runner remains on second. So Brandon Williamson, can he get out of it here? Ian Happ to the plate. He's 0 for 1 on the day, and he's going to bloop this one into right center. Plummer can't get there. Benson backs him up. He throws into second, and Ian Happ is thrown out at second, trying to stretch his base hit into a double. Runner scores still. The Chicago Cubs will lead this one 1-0 now here in the 3rd inning. Here's Stuart Fairchild. Now he's batting .244 in the season. A guy that I've kind of been impressed with this year, as he's going to hit this one into left field. Hard hit for Stuart Fairchild. Leadoff runner aboard. Like I said, Fairchild's a guy who I think has played very solid for us this season. Here's Spencer Steer batting .236. He's hitting 9 today. Here's the hit and run put on by the Cincinnati Reds, and Fairchild will move up to third as he goes from first to third on the hit and run. We don't see that a lot out of the Cincinnati Reds, but small ball could indeed be a factor here in the future. Here's De La Cruz. Big time opportunity for him. Runners on first and third with nobody out. He's going to ground this one to Swanson. On to second, and De La Cruz will be safe at first. No double play for Chicago, but Elly De La Cruz will get his first big league RBI. Here's Jonathan India now as he's going to get hit by the pitch here. That will put runners at first and second with 1 away. Here's Tyler Stevenson to the plate. Like I said, the best hitter we've had this season. And he's going to hit this one over the first baseman's head. It's going to fall into right field, and De La Cruz will come around to score his first run as a big leaguer. As the Cincinnati Reds now lead this one 2-1. Runners on the corner with only 1 away. Here's Jake Fraley, 1-2 count here, and he's going to foul this one away. Staying alive here. Next pitch, fouls away. So Jake Fraley fouling 2 in a row. Here's Fraley again, fouls another circle change by Hendricks. 2-2 count, still 50th pitch for Hendricks. And Fraley's going to foul this one away. Here is the 51st pitch, and that one is fouled away again by Fraley. So Fraley, what a battle we are seeing here. This one, he's going to take. So 3-2 count. 1 down, runners on first and third. Jake Fraley 0 for 1 on the day. Kyle Hendricks, 53rd pitch upcoming. Here's the pitch, and Jake Fraley crushes this one into right center field, and it is gone. What a hit by Jake Fraley. And with 2 strikes, I had been swinging with the contact button the entire at-bat. Even on that last pitch, and Fraley drove it 410 feet to give us a 5-1 lead. And that brings up the topic for Jake Fraley. I think he stays on this team. You know, we haven't had him face a lot of left-handed pitching, but against right-handed pitching, he is so good. And he's a guy we got to keep on this roster, especially for maybe some mentorship. He's going to be one of the bigger vets on this team next season. And so I think it's important to keep him on the team. He was a guy early on in the season that I thought about trading away to bring in prospects, but I think he's young enough team control to where we can get a lot out of him. So here's Nick Plummer, still bottom of the 3rd inning, 65th pitch, and Plummer's going to ground this one up the middle, back to Hendricks, and finally Kyle Hendricks will get out of the inning. But not before Jake Fraley crushed a 3-run homer to right center field to give the Cincinnati Reds the 5-1 lead. From this point on, the Reds offense would pretty much go cold. We're going to see a lot of pitching moving forward. Here's Williamson. Hosmer is going to go down looking at the 4-seam fastball. 93 miles per hour, placed perfectly by Brandon Williamson. We go bottom 4 now, and here's Elly De La Cruz for his 3rd at-bat. He's 0 for 2 on the day. And he goes down swinging on the curveball, 73 miles per hour. We just talked about Kyle Hendricks and his curveball that he has. It's hard to hit. Here is top 5 now. Williamson still on the mound, and he's going to get Patrick Wisdom swinging. The first base umpire said yes, he went, and that's another strikeout for Brandon Williamson. Runner on first now, top 5, and Spencer Steer on to India on Novato for the double play. 5-1 at the end of the top of the 5th. Top 6 now, here's Brennan Davis. He's 0 for 1 on the day, and he's going to hit this one into right field. Will Benson plays the hop, and he'll get this ball in. So leadoff runner aboard here for the Chicago Cubs. They're going to need 4 runs to tie. Here's Nelson Velasquez now, 3-1 count, and he's going to walk. So runners on first and second now with nobody away, and this might be the end, and it is. Daniel Norris will take over on the mound here for Cincinnati. A 5.98 ERA on the season, one of the few lefties that we have in our bullpen. Here's Ian Happ to the plate, and he crushes this one into left field over Fraley's head, and it's going to get down. It's going to score one for sure. Will it score a second? Elly De La Cruz throws it into Stevenson, and he's out by a mile. What a relay for the Cincinnati Reds. Fraley got the ball in as quickly as possible, and Elly De La Cruz with that strong arm throws out the runner by a mile. Good job by Stevenson to get the tag down as well, so that will limit the damage, hopefully, for Daniel Norris here. Top 6, and it's Nico Horner, and he is going to draw a walk. Runners on the corner now with 2 away, and Swanson hits this one on to India, to De La Cruz, and that will end the top of the 6th. Top 7 now, here's Trey Mancini. He hits this one into right field. We left Daniel Norris in to face the middle part of the order. Here's Yan Gomes now, 3-2 count, and he's going to send this one into left field, and Fraley plays the hop, tries to get it in. Doesn't matter. Runners at first and second now with only 1 away. Like I said, I think our offense slowed down. The Cubs offense picked up. Here's Joel Connell coming in now. He's got a 4.15 ERA on the season. Little over 60 innings pitched this season. Here's Brennan Davis, grounds this one to India, and India will just go to first. I thought that India might have been able to get the tag on the runner. Instead, he just gets the 1 out. Here's Velasquez, sends it down the line, and this one's going to score 1. Another runner is coming around third, and he is going to score. Fraley can't get the ball in, and that is going to make this a 5-4 game. It looked like Spencer Steer's effort just wasn't there on that play. Here's Ian Happ, and now Steer makes the play on to first, and he's got him. So that will end the top half of the 7th inning. We still lead 5-4. And here's Elly De La Cruz to the plate for his 4th at bat. And De La Cruz will send this one back to the pitcher, Sampson, on to first, and it's going to be an 0-for-4 day for Elly De La Cruz. Here's Lucas Sims to take on the 8th inning here. He's been really good for us this season, and he's going to get the strike 3 called on Eric Hosmer, the 3rd time he's went down on strikes today. Here's Dansby Swanson now with 2 away, and Swanson will smack this one right to India to end the top half of the 8th inning. So we see pitching after pitching, and we're going to see Alexis Diaz now, 29 for 37 on save opportunities this season, trying to get save 28. He gets Wisdom looking on the slider. 1 away. Here's Trey Mancini now, and Mancini sends us back up the middle off of Diaz's leg. Can he get it to first in time? No, he cannot. Runner aboard for the Cubs as Alexis Diaz may be a little shaken up on the play. He took the slider back at his leg, and he's looking over to the dugout saying he's good to go. So Alexis Diaz will stay in. Here's Yan Gomes, 3-2 count, and he goes down swinging on the slider. Alexis Diaz has got to get that slider going. He's got to have good control because when he has that, he's really good. 2 away. Davis sends this one into right field. Will Benson camping underneath of it, and this one almost got out. But the Cincinnati Reds will come away victorious with a 5-4 win against the Chicago Cubs to wrap up the MLB debut of Brandon Williamson and Elly De La Cruz. De La Cruz goes hitless, but Brandon Williamson will get his first big league victory, going 5 innings in this game. Pitching really good. I was very impressed with the way that he pitched in this game. And, I think we left a couple of bullpen arms in there just a little too long. Daniel Norris is really the only one with 2 earned. Williamson, 2 earned as well, but he had 5 strikeouts. We had 9 as a team, and Alexis Diaz gets his 30th. My fault. I said 28th earlier. He gets his 30th save on the season. So now moving forward, what I wanted to do is I wanted to just get into as many games as possible and try and get as much gameplay with Elly De La Cruz as possible. Maybe get his first career home run, but we need his first career hit as he sends this one back up the middle on Jamison Tyon, and he will have his first MLB career hit, 93 miles per hour off the bat. And it felt like he wasn't hitting the ball very hard when I was hitting with him in this episode here, as they're going to keep that ball, as he's going to put that in his trophy case. And never will forget this moment. Here he is now on first, trying to get his first stolen base of his MLB career. And he's in there with the stolen base. No throw. So I think, at this point, I think I go through about half the month here. Try to get as much gameplay with De La Cruz. You'll watch it, and you'll get a feel for how he is as a player. He's one of those guys where he's electrifying. He's got that dominant speed, 90 speed. He's a good defender. one thing that he didn't show me in the gameplay that I got was power. He doesn't hit the ball very hard. As you see, this one, just a real slow one, 79 off the bat, right up the middle. Gets another RBI, though. And really, that's all we need out of him, is we just need him to be a good contact hitter for us, because he's one of those guys that I feel like can lead this team. I think for the rest of the season, he will be our leadoff hitter, and I think even next season, he'll be our leadoff hitter. He will soon develop better power, but right now, I'm more focused on getting him some experience with the vision and discipline, because I want him to draw walks, and I want him to not strike out. I want him to be able to hit things outside of the zone. I want him to be able to do that stuff. Before he starts on his power, I want him to be able to pretty much hit any pitch. So here he is working in the middle of the infield with Jonathan India. That's a duo that will continue to stay around for a long time. And facing George Kirby, he gets hit by the pitch, so you get to see his toughness as he takes one off the foot. And like I said, he's one of those guys that, as you see his speed on display here, as he hits this one back up to Kirby, and he can't even get a throw off. 74 miles per hour off the bat is not good, but you got to be patient with him. I think that the way that he played here was good, and that right there is just textbook hitting. You take the pitch, it's right down the middle, you take it and you send it right back up the middle. You'd like to see maybe some line drives, but you're kind of satisfied with what you're seeing out of him. As this one right here was more of a hit that I like to see. That's a line drive shot, and he is able to get his average up to over 300. I played almost every game for about half of a month to try and get more experience with him and kind of get used to him as a hitter. This one right here was a really good hit, and I had more success, I think, batting from the right side of the plate in this game with De La Cruz. As you see here, we're going to go into his training, and we're really going to focus just on the hitting coach session. So we are going to try and improve the clutch, discipline, and vision, as those are the ones that I think need the most work. So moving through, we have the recap against the Mariners. He does not play in that game, so we're going to move right ahead to the St. Louis Cardinals series, as he's going to send this one into right field, and it's off the glove of the second baseman, and he's going to try and stretch this one into a double, and he's out. I like the hustle by De La Cruz, but he's got to be a little smarter than that next time. Eric Lauer on the mound. We talked about him earlier in this series, as De La Cruz sends this one into left field, and it's off the base of the wall for a double. So I thought that one right there was his first career home run. It is not, but it's his first career double, so that's a good thing to see. We are going to move ahead to another game. We're facing Dakota Hudson on the mound now, 3-2 count, and really good hit there by De La Cruz. I want to get in the habit of 2 strikes against a hitter, regardless if somebody's on base or not. I want to swing contact. We did there, and it worked out pretty well for us. Here in this game, he does not play again. Or actually, I think in the Mariners series, he did play. He went 0 for 4. And that game right there, he does not play, gets the day off. He's going to send this one past the shortstop, and he's going to have another base hit as that average is continuing to rise here. As now he's playing in Detroit. This is a place that's very hard to hit home runs. Batting .256 now, as he's going to face Spencer Turnbull today, as he gets rid of the bat. And it was really weird because he throws the bat. He can't hang on to the bat. Maybe need to give him some pine tar. And then Spencer Turnbull was injured on the play. So obviously the bat didn't hit him, but it was a weird thing. Now you're going to have to face another pitcher as Matthew Boyd's on the mound, and De La Cruz will send this one down the line. Unfortunately, he'll have to be held up to just a single. If there was not a runner ahead of him, he probably would have had a double there. Top 9 now, 5-5 to score, 1 for 4 day for De La Cruz. And this one is a perfect, but very softly hit out to left field. It was a perfect swing, but it was a soft hit indeed. So next game we win 8-7, and then look at this, a 4 for 6 day for Elly De La Cruz, 3 RBIs, and he did hit his first MLB career home run. I would have liked for it to be me, but I'm glad that he got it in this episode. His first MLB career home run. The average is now up to 300. Can we maintain the average and keep it at 300 by the end of this episode? I don't know. He's got to face Justin Verlander here, Max Scherzer in the next game. But he's going to send this one in between the shortstop and third baseman for a leadoff single here in the top of the first. As I got more experience with him, I learned to be more patient hitting with De La Cruz as well, as he's going to hit this one in the left center field, get down ball, and it will get down, and De La Cruz is going to cruise into second with a double. His second hit off of Justin Verlander, who is one of the better pitchers in baseball. Put that into perspective. Here is De La Cruz trying to steal third, and he's in there. Overthrow, and Elly De La Cruz is going to hustle into home as he's going to score. You get to see his electricity on display there. He steals third, forces a bad throw by the catcher, and then he can steal home as well. That is something that makes him so good. Here he is facing Max Scherzer now, and he's going to send this one back up the middle. As you see, we get into more 3-2 counts as I continue to play, as we're going to hustle into second, and he's out by a mile. I like trying to see that by Elly De La Cruz. I think it makes it interesting to see him hustle out there. He's one of those guys. He's going to be, another Fernando Tatis. We want to build our team around him. Here in the finale against the New York Mets, he did not play, but we did pick up our 61st win on the season, so we are 1 win away from tying our win total from last season. And looking at the average, De La Cruz is batting .305 on the season, exactly what you want to see. He's got the 1 home run, 2 doubles, 7 RBIs, and in 59 at-bats, he struck out 9 times. I would like to see him strike out a little bit less there, as you can probably find out his K per 9 here. 14%, not bad, Kind of figured he'd be sitting more up by 20 to 30. ISO is real low. His WAR is positive, so that's what matters, but we're not seeing a lot of power out of him yet. But I want to give him time to work on his attributes throughout the rest of September, and then next spring training, and then hopefully opening day of the year 2024, he'll be ready to go. So like I said, the plan for the next episode is to simulate all the way up until the very last game against the St. Louis Cardinals, and then from there, we will play that game and wrap up season number 1, and then we're going to roll right into another live stream for the off season, and then probably 2 more live streams right after that for spring training. So stay tuned for that. I do want to make another episode before we start year number 2, kind of giving you a rundown on the roster. And then at some point in that time period, I'm going to drop a channel update video to talk about the future of the channel. But that's going to do it for this episode. If you guys enjoyed it and you enjoyed the MLB debut of Brandon Williamson and Elly De La Cruz, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.